Have you ever met someone who walks into a room and somehow, within minutes, every single conversation is about them? Maybe it's someone you know at work. Maybe it's a family member. Maybe it's an old friend. Or maybe, and stay with me here, maybe you've caught yourself doing it too. Today, we're diving deep into the psychology of people who love attention. And I'm not just going to give you a list of traits. I'm going to show you what's actually happening inside their mind, why they do it, where it starts, and the one thing about attention-seeking behavior that nobody talks about. Stay until the end, because reason number 7 is the one that's going to completely change how you see these people, and honestly, how you see yourself. If this is the kind of content that makes you think, go ahead and subscribe to Human Psych 101 right now. We break down human behavior in ways that are simple, real, and actually useful. Hit the like button too. It helps more people find this video.
Now, let me tell you about a woman named Cassandra. Cassandra is 34 years old, lives in Atlanta, Georgia, and by every outward measure, she's doing great. Good job, nice apartment, lots of friends, always the most energetic person in the group chat. But here's the thing about Cassandra. If she posts a photo and it doesn't get enough likes within the first hour, her entire mood crashes. She'll cancel plans, she'll go quiet, she'll replay the post in her head, wondering what she did wrong. At dinner with friends, if the conversation shifts away from her for too long, she'll say something dramatic to pull it back. Not because she's evil, not because she's selfish, but because without that attention, Cassandra doesn't feel real. And that right there, that feeling of not being real without an audience, is exactly what we're going to unpack today. Because Cassandra isn't rare. Cassandra is everywhere. And in some small way, Cassandra might be a little bit of all of us. So here are the 10 psychological reasons why some people are wired to crave attention more than others. Number 1, they never felt truly seen growing up. This is where almost everything starts. When children don't receive consistent emotional attention from their parents or caregivers, they grow up with a quiet but powerful hunger, the hunger to finally be noticed. Cassandra's mother was loving but distracted, always busy, always tired. Cassandra learned early that the only way to get her mother's full attention was to do something big, something loud, something that couldn't be ignored. That lesson didn't leave when childhood ended. It just followed her into adulthood, wearing a different outfit. Ask yourself, growing up, did you ever feel like you had to perform just to be noticed?
Number 2, attention became their emotional currency. For some people, attention isn't just something that feels nice. It's the thing that tells them they're okay. When Cassandra gets attention, she feels safe. When she doesn't, something in her body goes on high alert, like a warning signal that something is deeply wrong. This is because the brain, over time, can link attention to survival. Not literally, but emotionally. And once that link is formed, the craving becomes almost automatic. Number 3, they have an anxious attachment style. Here's something most people don't know. The way you were attached to your caregivers as a baby literally shapes how you seek connection as an adult. People with an anxious attachment style were raised in environments where love and attention were inconsistent. Sometimes they got it, sometimes they didn't. And that unpredictability created a nervous system that is always scanning, always searching, always a little bit desperate for reassurance. Attention-seeking, in this case, isn't vanity. It's anxiety wearing a social mask.
Number 4, their self-worth lives outside of them. This is the one that quietly ruins lives. Most people who crave attention haven't built what psychologists call internal self-worth, the ability to feel valuable just by existing. Instead, their self-worth is almost entirely external. It lives in other people's reactions, in comments, in compliments, in being chosen. The terrifying thing about that,
external validation is completely outside your control, which means your sense of self-worth is always one bad day away from collapsing. Cassandra knows this feeling. After a night where everyone laughed at her stories and wanted to be near her, she feels on top of the world. But the next morning, alone in her apartment with no notifications, the emptiness comes right back. Number 5, they were rewarded for performing. Some people were literally trained to seek attention, and they don't even know it. If you grew up in a home where being funny got you love, or being the best got you praise, or being in crisis got you care, then you learned that attention is something you earn through a performance. And so you kept performing, long after the original audience was gone.
Number 6, deep down, they fear they are fundamentally boring. Not just uninteresting, boring at the core. This fear is more common than you'd think, and it drives people to fill every silence, top every story, and never let a moment pass without leaving their mark on it. Because if they stop, if they're just quiet and ordinary for a moment, what if people finally see through them? What if there's nothing interesting there at all? That fear keeps the performance going, long after the person is exhausted from it. Number 7, and here's the one I promised you. Attention seeking is often a grief response. Let that land for a second. Some people are seeking, through other people's eyes, the love and attention they lost or never received from someone specific. A father who was never proud of them, a mother who was emotionally unavailable, a partner who made them feel invisible. Every room becomes an unconscious attempt to finally get that thing they never got. Every audience becomes a stand-in for the person who was supposed to see them and didn't. This isn't something most attention seekers could tell you about themselves. It lives below the surface, silent and unnamed, but it is one of the most powerful drivers of this behavior.
Number 8, social media rewired their brain's reward system. This one is modern and it's real. Every like, every comment, every share releases a small hit of dopamine, the brain's pleasure chemical. And just like any reward system, the brain starts to crave it, chase it, need more of it to feel the same effect. Cassandra didn't start out this way, but years of instant feedback from social media slowly shifted what her brain needed to feel good. Now, silence feels like punishment, and an unanswered post feels like rejection. Number 9, they are actually deeply empathetic people in pain. Here's the plot twist. Many of the most attention-seeking people you'll ever meet are also some of the most emotionally sensitive. They feel things deeply. They notice everything. They pick up on shifts in energy that most people miss. But that sensitivity, without the right emotional tools, can turn inward and become a desperate need for the world to feel what they feel too. Attention-seeking, in this case, is a form of emotional overflow. They need someone to receive what they're carrying because they don't know how to carry it alone.
Number 10, they haven't yet learned that being seen starts from within. This is the one that changes everything. The loudest attention seekers are usually the people who have never truly sat with themselves in silence and thought, I am enough, right now, without anyone watching. That idea feels foreign to them, even frightening, because their entire emotional life has been built around the outside world telling them who they are. And the work, the real work, is learning to be the first person who fully sees themselves. Not performing for a mirror, not waiting for applause, just quietly, honestly knowing their own worth without needing anyone else to confirm it. Cassandra is still working on this. She started therapy last year. She's learning to sit with silence without reaching for her phone. She's learning that an unanswered post doesn't mean she's invisible. It's slow work, but it's the most important work she's ever done. And here's what I want you to take from this. The next time you meet someone who seems to need all the attention in the room, try just for a moment to see past the performance. Because underneath it, almost always,
is a person who just never felt like enough. And if any part of this video made you look inward even slightly, then you already have more self-awareness than most people ever develop.
That awareness is where everything changes. If this hit different for you, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Human Psych 101 for more content that actually makes you think. Drop a comment below. I want to know, do you have a Cassandra in your life? Or have you ever recognized this in yourself? See you in the next one.